Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill, and this is the Jack and Jill Show 2. With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWit.
Hey there.
Welcome to the show today. In this episode, as promised, Jill and I talk about when to stop selling. When is it just too much? Jeez. Stop with the shameless plugs of your websites.
Big.
Jack, every other sentence is land investors this, land academy that. Before we get into it, though, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com
there you go again. Jeez.
online community. It's free.
All right. Merritt asks, hi all. I'm wondering if folks have any experience with doing deals with attorneys. I know that I've heard warnings in the podcast from Jack and Jill that attorneys have a tendency to kill deals, but I'm not sure if that applies to when they actually accept an offer you've mailed them.
Man, I have a lot to say about this already.
I got an accepted offer back in the mail that looked like a great deal. Reviewed it with Pappy Jack. Thumbs up. Pappy Jack. That's you. Strangely, after multiple attempts to get in touch with the seller via phone, no dice.
Oh, darn.
Finally decided to email the guy and got a quick response.
Oh, good.
He wants to do the deal, but his deceased mom is on the title. I called the county and found out the necessary steps to remove the mom from the title.
Good for you, Merritt.
And emailed him back the information and the forms for him to file, etc. It should take him about 30 minutes of his time and cost $25. I said I would reimburse him. After I sent the email back to him, I noticed on his email he was a DA.
District Attorney.
It's hilarious. Looking him up and found out he is in fact the DA of the state's capital county. Awesome. This is so funny. Knowing this makes me want to take this deal down even more to show that I conquered the Genghis Khan of the state with an Excel spreadsheet and a $5,000 cashier's check.
Merritt, we got to have you on the show. You're hilarious.
Is this cavalier and or naive on my part?
No, it's great.
I really can't run away since I signed the purchase agreement with the DA. Is this a mistake at 100 miles an hour, Jack?
Nope.
Thanks for your thoughts.
No, so let me clear this up. I don't dislike doing deals with attorneys. I just think that some of them can get a little overzealous and look for things to kill a deal. You know, and by the way, just so we're all clear here, full disclosure, lawyers get paid the more they talk and do stuff. So if they can stretch a deal out for a couple more weeks or a couple more months or a couple more years, they get paid more. They can build more problems they find and that they have to solve, the more they get paid. Do all of them do that? No. In fact, one of my best friends is a lawyer in Scottsdale. I've known him forever. His name is Kent Lang. He's a construction real estate attorney.
Sales plug.
Yeah. Well, I hope he gets more business out of it. I have never dealt with an attorney who is more straightforward, honest, and tries to get stuff done quickly. In fact, I tell Jill, Kent wrecked it for us. Every other attorney we deal with is, it's not Kent. You know, It's not the Kent level stuff.
I know.
No, so did you stop doing a deal because of the DA situation? No, not at all. I think you should full steam ahead and, shake the guy's hand and maybe potentially even meet him. Mm-hmm. You know, why not?
Exactly.
I think it's great. And if you're going to solve, I bet you I can name the state that Merritt's working in here, because a lot of times it's real hard to get deceased people out of a real estate deal. And if it's going to take you 30 minutes and $25, my hat's off to you. You're off to a great start here in your career. Mm-hmm. And you're funny.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on landinvestors.com. Why does he say it like that?
I don't know.
Today's topic, when to stop selling. When to stop plugging your own websites. When to just tone down the Tony Robbins crap. This is the meat of the show. Jill, you've had a ton of experience. This is the opposite show of yesterday, by the way. When is it just too much?
Oh my gosh. When you turn them off, I mean, it's, how do I say? It's really easy to oversell. If you're trying to sell, how's that? So, okay, what do I mean by that? If you are sitting there listing features and benefits, and anyone who's in sales knows what I'm talking about. You have a feature, you have a benefit, you have a feature, you have a benefit, and you're trying to convey the product and make it wonderful and why it's wonderful and going to solve all your woes. You know, when you start going down that path, and you're caught up in that path, and you stop listening to the questions that your customer is asking you, you're selling. And you just cross the line.
Here's what somebody told me this a really long time ago, and it's always obviously stuck with me. Everyone needs some problem solved. And when you're solving somebody's problem, we'll give several examples here that are pertinent to our industry in a second here. When you're solving someone's problem, you're not selling them something. When you're trying to sell them something that they don't need or want, and if they've expressed, look, I don't want a Cadillac, I really just want a Buick, then it becomes too much selling, in my opinion. Like, here's an example.
Okay.
A guy calls in or emails in and says, I love this property that you have in northern Arizona. It's a little bit too big, but I can get around it if it's got this, this, and this. And my comment or question to that person is, what are we doing here? Or is it a Christmas present for your 2-year-old son? Do you want to live off the grid? What are we doing? Because I've got other stuff that may be able to solve this problem for you or get you what you want, maybe more effectively.
Listen to you.
You know, I just think that, and that's.
Oh, you make fun of me? You're kind of a sales pro yourself. Oh, it's coming out.
Don't call me a salesman.
Jack. Wow. The
It's
S
true.
word. You know how to sell.
I think that if you're solving somebody's problem, I mean, there's a million examples. Cars are a great example. Land is just one. Houses, people have a primary residence is an easy sell. Everybody
Right.
needs one.
Right. The main thing is, it's like you don't want to be walking around trying to make sure everyone has your widget because you just need to get them in everybody else's hands. You want to get your widget in the hands of someone who really wants and needs it, like you're saying. And it's got to be the right widget. And if it's not the right widget, get out. This is my most recent. Let's go back to like Jack's example. There's a lot of people that come to us that they have money burning a hole in their pocket and they want to invest in property. Okay, buyers. But I'm not going to sell them something just to get it in their hands. Like Jack said, you want to make sure it's the right one. And by the way, what if they're all fired up and they have no money? I'm going to politely tell them, come back when you do. Please don't go take out a second or, sell a child or something silly. You know what I mean?
I think every time I walk by your office and you're talking on the phone, which is about 12 hours a day, when I stop and listen, I don't even know if you know this, that I do this. I stop and listen when you say, you know what? You're not ready for this. Mm-hmm. If you're looking through the couch to buy whatever property you want to buy or get involved with Land Academy or any of the other stuff, the products that we have, it's just not the right time.
Right.
Why stress yourself out?
Exactly.
Why would you put yourself in a bad financial situation? It's just, and I think you have a thing that I've heard you say, like, please set up a separate bank account and save a bunch of money for 6 months.
Call me in 6 months.
Yeah, that's what it is. Call me in 6 months.
I don't care. We're not going anywhere. So it's got to be the right time.
That's real.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, it's just times it's just too much. That's what's interesting is like for some reason people cross that line where they're just overdoing it, where you almost want to say, shut up already. I'm already going to buy it. Please stop. You have to get out of your own head a little bit and listen to your customer. And when you hear them say, great, what do I do next? Don't keep going with 6 more things, because what you might accidentally do is turn them off too, because that's happened to me.
Yeah, after they
I've had
say
people,
yes.
I'm like, you know what? I would have bought that, but they would not shut up.
Yeah, me
and
too.
now I'm out. I couldn't stand it.
We've all done that. We've all
Yeah.
been on the salesman side of that, where you get excited, or I don't know why. A lot of years ago, but
Meaning the seller side or the customer side?
it was just too much selling. When I was younger, I was a commercial real estate broker.
Or you sold too much.
I was just shut up, Jack.
Right. Yeah, God, fine. Where do I sign? Knock it off.
That should be the
Make
name
it
of our
stop.
show. Shut up, Jack. Make it stop.
I'll sign. All right. No, but it's just, there's a time.
That's how Jill describes her relationship with me to her girlfriends.
Yeah, make it stop. Like, you know what happened? He wouldn't stop, so I had to say yes.
Okay, so I guilted you into it.
Yeah, that's right.
I filibustered you.
Relationship by guilt. Why am I here?
Who's the winner there?
He wouldn't go away anyway, so I might as well just gave up. Gave in. Just kidding. No.
So recently, Jill and I had to buy. We needed to replace some furniture because it was worn out. And Jill's favorite couch manufacturer, for a bunch of reasons, is Lazy Boy, which I didn't know anything about. So we walk in this store. The guy walks up. He's a retired real estate agent. And he says, "What are we looking for today?" And we described it. And he said, we walked past all the $17,000 couches and all that stuff. And he took us straight back to the, for lack of a better description, scratch and dent back room. And we found a perfectly good, unbelievable deal.
It was just stuff,
brand new.
It wasn't even like it was anything wrong with it. It was just kind of like last year's model.
Yeah.
So who cares?
And he was happy, and we were happy. We saved a ton of money. Jill got exactly what she wanted. I mean, she walked in the room and walked right to it, and we put a deal together on the thing. Mm-hmm. And the guy was happy. He could have said, "This is what it's the upselling, selling you something you don't need or want." Thing that's when selling is just too much, right. I think. So he could have very easily said, he could have listened to us, which he did, and then steered us toward something that we didn't want and wasted a bunch of time.
Well, he also left us alone a little bit. Like, I'll be over here. You guys walk around, let me know if you need anything. I really appreciate that.
Me too.
You know, it's so no matter, like, that's a good thing. When someone comes to you right off the bat, there is a percentage of people that are ready to act at that moment. But there's a lot of people that need to sleep on things, especially depending on how much money this product is, whatever you're selling. So if someone comes to you, don't say, it's going to go fast. You don't make an offer now. I've got 6 more people that want this property.
Come on.
Don't do that unless you really have them. Because, here's the funny thing is I really have had that where I have had other interested parties, and I really will sincerely share that, but I'm not, and I will say, but I want you to sleep on it, but I do want you to know that I am talking to another guy. So, but you can tell when someone's being sincere. I can tell when they're being sincere. Don't make it up if it's not true. That's the part that drives me crazy. And don't follow people around the showroom. That drives people crazy.
So let me ask you this, because I know you have a ton of experience at this. When, as a seller now, as a real estate seller, do you turn it off and say, you know what, I can't deal with this buyer any longer?
Well, you know what? That's a very good question. I think the more experience you have, the quicker you will read these people, your buyers, and you will know when they're serious or not. Now, there's always going to be some that surprise the heck out of you. You're thinking, that guy said he lives there. He's living in this, he sounds like a vagrant in a motorhome, and he has nothing, but turns out the guy just paid $50,000 cash. So he's got stuff. He's okay. So you don't want to insult anybody. Be careful. But what was the question again?
I don't know. I was thinking about something else too.
Yeah, I already lost the question. Wait. When?
No. So when do you? Obviously, you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
What are some of the characteristics that you can share with me and everyone else?
When I say I'm out.
When you're out, or when you're like, you know what, this guy's probably for real.
Oh.
When is it just too much? We're talking about too much selling. Sometimes people, as buyers, it's just too much. It's like, geez, just stop.
Right. I have a lot of patience, so that's a tough one.
I don't.
So, but if I try to really quick qualify them and see if they're really serious or not serious, and even if they are not serious, but they had some questions, I'm gonna still do the right thing, because who's to say they're not gonna hang up the phone and be talking to their brother-in-law who says, "Oh my gosh, that's exactly what we're looking for," and he might be, a good person, a good buyer. So I have a lot of patience, I guess.
I think it's a full-blown two-way street. So if you're if you're selling a piece of property, somebody calls you on a piece of houses or anything, and the person on the other end of the line doesn't sound sincere, they're wasting your time. They're going to tell. A lot of times I hear our salespeople on the phone, and they're talking to people, and they're just sitting there listening to some sob story. I have to move out because of this, and I need to buy some land, and they're not going to buy anything.
No.
I'm telling you right now.
They just want to vent. You got to get those off the phone.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah, that's it. When it goes that sideways, then I do shut them down. I guess that's my thing. I'll answer a few questions, but I'm not going to sit here for 45 minutes. Shut them down.
So logic or just in a natural course of things, you would think that more talking or the more FaceTime that you have is better.
No.
And I used to think that.
No, you're right.
But I know now with experience, after how many deals we've done, almost 16,000 deals, less talking's better.
You can actually talk people out of stuff when you don't mean to. So that's the thing. The more you keep talking, you might really mess it up and go, yeah. And you know what? That whole thing about that neighbor next door with the gun and the whole thing and the whole police that showed up, that was really a minor event. So next thing you know, you're like, oh, I just shared something. Oh my gosh, I didn't need to, and scared somebody. But you could accidentally talk too much. That's a good thing. When to stop selling. One more good thing. When you're talking too much and you make it sound like it's a little too good to be true, you could talk yourself out of the sale, and you don't want that.
I think if you describe the good and you describe the bad, pros and cons, and there's not too many bad things, but there's a bunch of good stuff, and you're a relatively rational, down-to-earth person, you're going to sell a lot of stuff.
Well,
especially if you own it.
And remember that the only reason you're here doing this is because I'm assuming we all believe in what we're doing. That's the thing, too. I'm not going to buy a property unless it's a good property. Then I know it's going to be something usable and good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just don't buy it.
Right.
So I have no trouble properly and
oh my gosh, you're right. You believe
conveying what I have. And if it's not a good fit for you, I don't care. I got 6 more people that I'll talk to that are interested.
And you know why?
It doesn't matter.
It leads me right to my next point.
What?
I am without a doubt 100% confident that we have the best priced property anywhere. And I don't care what the product type is. The houses that we sell, the land that we sell, there's nothing, because I've done so much upfront work about what we've purchased it for. So if and when, and I convey that to our sales staff, but
right.
if and when we ever have to actually, we don't have to sell that much stuff because it just sells itself. It's so cheap. The best customer for us is somebody who's done all their homework and they call and they say, how do we get this deal done? Because you guys are priced at half of what everything else is priced at, and and I checked y'all out and you look good. So let me know how to close.
Bingo.
Let me know where to click.
Thank you.
That's how I know I'm doing my job.
Yep.
If there's a sales pitch, or sometimes people call and they say, I just wanted to know there's like a person behind this thing.
Yes.
And I get that.
Totally.
That's totally.
Yeah, they're legit.
Then they say, how do I buy property that cheap? And then we say, we have this thing called Land Academy. That's how this whole thing started.
I know. Exactly.
If you have a question or you want to be in the show, reach out to either one of us. Oh, that's the wrong line.
That's okay.
Join us in another episode. Over the next episode, where we discuss how to value houses.
That's going to be good.
Favorite topics.
And we're going to answer Matt's question about how to build a buyer's list.
You're not alone in your real estate ambition. I got all excited.
You did. Kind of lost you there. So I hope I didn't lose everybody else. So if you like our show, please rate us on iTunes or wherever you are listening. We really appreciate that.
I know. I didn't know when to stop selling.
That's what was going on. Yeah. Overkill Jack.
Overkill Jack.
Overkill Jack.
I like it.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show. We are the experts at acquiring property
of all kinds, not just land,
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.